Welcome to the African Storyteller, where we tell vibrant African folk tales with good moral lessons. Now sit back, watch, and enjoy today's story. In the heart of Lagos City, where glossy suburban houses stood in a neat row and streetlights hummed at night, there was one crooked little apartment that seemed forgotten by time. Inside it lived an old woman, hunched, wrinkled, and silent. They called her Grandma T. She never smiled, never visited anyone, never accepted visits. Children ran when they saw her bent silhouette. She lived like a shadow, appearing only exactly at 6 p.m. each evening to fetch water from the cracked old well in front of the building. 8 buckets. Always 8 buckets. Then she would disappear into her deemed electricity-starved apartment, and the cycle will begin again. One evening, as the sun bled into crimson and shadows stretched long, Grandma T's quiet routine was disturbed. By the well, 3 girls, Shade, Joke, and Bimpe, were gossiping as they filled their buckets. Their laughter echoed in the stillness as Shade bragged about a university friend who had suddenly become rich and glamorous after joining an exclusive women's club, the Billionaires Women's Association, she whispered, her eyes wide open. Founded by none other than Queen Kiki. At the mention of Queen Kiki, the other girls gasped. She was a goddess of their society, wealthy, elegant, and untouchable. The girls chattered on, their voices shimmering with excitement. But something soon happened that made their laughter to freeze. Not all that glitters is gold, Grandma T muttered without looking at them. The devil comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. The girls froze. No one had ever heard Grandma T speak before. Their hands trembled on their buckets. Let me tell you a story, Grandma T said. 40 years ago, I grew up in a small village with my best friends, Diana and Timmy. We would always play by the stream after school. We went to primary school, secondary school, and even the university together. Both ladies were intelligent, but Timmy was extraordinary. She had a brain of 7 computers put together as one. She studied accounting on a full scholarship and graduated with top honors from the university. Everyone celebrated Timmy's brilliant mind. Yet, life was so cruel. For 3 long years after we had graduated from the university, Timmy could not find work. Poverty clung to her like a curse. She was frustrated, devastated, and depressed. She would often sit by herself and cry. Then, one day, she stumbled upon Diana, her long-lost friend, who had struggled in school. Now drove the finest cars, wore the most dazzling jewelry, and dined like royalty. How? Timmy asked. How? Diana smiled and told Timmy, there is a club, the Ladies' Circle. It is led by Madame Beatrice. Now, Madame Beatrice then was a legend. She was an elegant, charitable woman, respected in the society. Everyone looked up to her. To Timmy, Madame Beatrice seemed like salvation. The first time Timmy attended a meeting, she was mesmerized. Women shared their pain and were lifted by sisters who vowed to never let them fall. And Madame Beatrice, draped in gold and velvet, moved amongst them like a queen granting miracles. Timmy joined, and suddenly her life transformed. She landed a job at a top accounting firm. Money flowed, respect followed. At last, Timmy had arrived. One day, Madame Beatrice summoned Timmy. The club is in trouble, she said sweetly. We need someone smart to help us manage our finances. And I hear you're an accountant. Proud and eager, Timmy agreed. At first, she only concealed donations. Then she was handed bags of raw cash. You want me to launder this money? She whispered. Yes, Madame Beatrice said. But don't fear. We use it to uplift our sisters. Reluctantly, Timmy agreed. For months, she moved millions through hidden accounts. But one night, as she worked late, her hands brushed across a locked folder on the club's system. Curiosity overcame her, and she cracked the encryption. What she saw shattered her soul. Videos, hundreds of them, of pastors, imams, governors, and generals, all caught in acts of wickedness with the women of the club. Each file was a weapon, a string that Madame Beatrice used to control the nation. The charity was nothing but a blackmail empire. Timmy's stomach turned. She copied the files onto a flash drive, determined to expose the evil. She drove quickly to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission headquarters the next morning. With her heart pounding, she told them everything. She handed over the flash drive. She thought she had done the right thing. But hours later, the officers returned, guns drawn. Timmy, they backed. You are under arrest for fraud and money laundering. Wait, what? No. That's not possible. I'm the whistleblower, she said. They laughed coldly. We found accounts in your name, overflowing with the club's stolen millions. Timmy was so lost for words. She could not believe what was happening. 2 weeks later, Timmy was dragged from her cell. You have a visitor, they said. When the door opened, her heart stopped. It was Madame Beatrice. She stood in diamonds, her perfume filling the filthy cell. She leaned closely, her smile wicked. You thought you could betray me, she whispered. I own this country, Timmy. Politicians, priests, soldiers, judges, they all belong to me. And now, so do you. Timmy collapsed to her knees, begging for mercy. I will never betray you again, she cried. Madame Beatrice laughed. Your punishment is simple. 40 years behind bars. When you come out, the world will no longer remember your name. 40 years, I say. And so it was. 40 years passed. And when Timmy finally walked free, bent, broken, and alone, she was no longer Timmy. The world had moved on and had forgotten all about her. By the end of the story, the girls could no longer force a smile, nor did their legs feel steady beneath them. One by one, they staggered out of the room, as if a heavy truth had slammed into their chests. Reality itself had finally caught up to them. The candle beside Grandma T flickered as she retreated into the couch, tears on her wrinkled eyes. "Well done, Timmy," she murmured to herself. "You finally told your story. Well done." Then she blew out the flame, and darkness swallowed her.